Alright, so we're back in the world of Space Marines 2, and we got some recent news to go over today. There was a brand new Q&A with Tim Wiltis about some of the things that a lot of players are interested in knowing about Space Marines 2 that we're going to be covering in this video. If I'm being 100% honest, there isn't a ton of content to talk about today. There's just minor news, so I do want to be transparent with you guys leading into the video. But if you are excited for the launch of Space Marines 2, hit that like button as well as subscribe to the channel. We're going to be covering all things Space Marines 2, including reviews, news, and guides leading into and beyond the launch of the game, so I would love to have you guys a part of the channel. Once again, we're going to be mainly focused on the important things that's in this interview, so let's dive right on into this one. Alright, so the article will be linked down in the description if you want to go read it yourself. I'm going to just read through the things that I think are important that players want to hear, so let's go over it. And this article is called Warhammer 40k Space Marines 2 QA with Tim Wiltis. We have a game that will exceed expectations. Here is the first question and answer. With Space Marines 2, you are taking a beloved game and finally making a sequel around a decade later. Are you feeling the pressure of the fans? Yes, the Warhammer 40k franchise has been around for 45 years now, and millions of players love the franchise in itself. The first game was very popular, but I also want to say that if you, as a fan or as an action gamer, have never played the first game, don't worry about that. You can start with Space Marine 2. It's a complete game. It's actually difficult to play the first game now. Is only available through Steam. There is a expectation from Warhammer 40k fans that we treat the universe with respect and that we're going to get things correct. Then there's an expectation from fans of the first game as well as just fans of Saber and action games. So yes, the expectations are very high, but I believe that we have a game that will exceed those expectations. We have a very dense game with a campaign mode that you can play by yourself or with two friends. We have our PvE missions where the story kinds of run parallel to the campaign, and we have a full 6v6 PvP mode with 3 game modes, so it's a lot to offer. It all wraps together in our Saber proprietary technology with the Swarm Tech and AI Director, so we believe we are delivering the true ultimate Space Marines experience. So most importantly, the takeaway I have for this is the team is honoring the Space Marines in the 40k universe. Again, I've said this many times in the video, in my previous videos at least, that I do not know anything about the 40k universe. I'm very unfamiliar with the lore and everything, but I have played Dark Tide. That's about as far as I know. And I know a lot of the fans really respect it. I see in the forums, I see a lot of players talking about certain things that I have no clue about. So it does look like a lot of the fans really love the game. And to see the team say that, hey, look, we're going to honor the game and try to make it for you guys and honor that's really important to me. There's a lot the game offers, so I'm looking forward to it, and I do think the game is going to do really well. The next question, he said, I believe the game was originally meant to come out in late 2023. Can you share what were the reasons behind the 9-month delay, and what did you improve during this additional time? We just needed time to polish it. You know that old saying, a game is only late when it ships, but a bad game is bad forever, and this is very true. We wanted to focus on making sure that every component, the single player campaign, the PvE co-op mode, all were solid. There's a lot to this game, and I feel the players will feel good regarding value and content. When you have all those systems, you have progression, you have multiplayer, sometimes things take longer to get right, but I'm glad that we took the time we needed to make sure that we got it correct, because Warhammer 40k fans want it correct. If you screwed something up, they would be mad, and so we really wanted to honor the franchise. We want to respect the universe. We wanted to make the game that people want to play, which is really great. Something like that is something I respect. I know in 2024 games are rushed, things are poorly polished. I know, and I'm just saying, because I'm just being real, I expect consoles going to have up to 60 FPS, so very likely 40 to 60 FPS. So it's not going to be perfect. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of PC systems that can't run the game. It's not going to be perfect. No release is ever going to be perfect in my eyes, but it does look like the team is trying to take extra care. A 9-month delay is a long delay, but again, I'd rather see the game be good than the game be bad and rushed, and a lot of games are rushed these days, so this is a really nice message. Moving on to more class-based stuff. I know you have a class system for multiplayer modes. Can you talk about that? So he said this, indeed, are you familiar with World War Z? It's a little similar. Our game director, Dimitri, I don't know his last name, was the game director on World War Z, and he was very good at progression, classes identity, and attribute. As you play, even in PvE, as you progress, you unlock different classes and you can earn experience. You can use some of that experience to upgrade your characters even in PvP. So it's like World War Z, where you have things like the Assault class, the heavy class, and the support class. We have Warhammer 40k names for them, but you can pick one that you like and fit your playstyle, and you can apply your experiences to those classes. And then he says this: how deep is progression for each class? It's deep. World War Z was deep. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but I feel that players will be happy. Like World War Z, we will have updates that will expand the classes, weapons, and game modes all for free. Now I have two things to say. First off, I didn't play a lot of World War Z, so I don't know how deep the customization is, but I do know that they have been doing a lot of free updates. I think they had one either in July or next July. They have an update. This is like 5 or 6 years after the launch of the game, and they have been doing free updates, so that's really cool. Personally, customization is arguably the most important thing for me, because if you guys are fans of the channel, outside of just doing news content, I actually play the game really heavy, and I actually do like builds and guides and stuff like that. And so if it has deep customization, I love making builds that players can enjoy and play. So that's really important to me. Personally, I'm one of those players that's happy to support a dev team. I love that they're willing to do it for free, but for me, I'm willing to pay a little extra on skins, cosmetics to help that development cycle, because if a game is good, I love supporting it, but that's just how I think about things. Next, do you have plans to add new classes to Space Marines 2 post-launch? Yes, we have plans for it. There will be new stuff for everything. That is a very brief explanation. I saw a video today that was like the whole entire title of the video. This is very brief, so I'm not going to put that as the title. If you respect that kind of stuff, leave me a like maybe. But yeah, it looks like there's going to be new classes. They didn't touch on it. Let me know down in the comments what class you would like to see. But yeah, this is very, very brief, almost nothing, sadly. Next, are the class skills in multiplayer the same across PvE and PvP, or did you balance them differently? There are similarities, but there are differences, because obviously fighting Chaos Marines is very much more difficult than fighting Tyranids. There are behind the scenes changes and adjustments that allow for challenging yet approachable gameplay in PvP, as well as having fun with your buddies in PvE. And this is what the interviewer asked: when you're in PvE, it's okay to feel overpowered. In PvP, not so much, and I actually agree with this. A player should be super powerful in PvE if they build correctly. I know people don't like characters being strong. I love characters when they get strong, where they get too broken. I like them to invest, but I want them to be strong, and I think giving players power is something important. But in PvP, there needs to be a bit of balance. So yeah, I like that. Unless we're talking about like MMO stuff where you have gear differences, skill point differences, character time investment differences. That's the only time I think there should be an imbalance in PvP. But if we're doing a game like this, I would say I agree. I think PvP should be a little bit more in line. Anyway, this is what the director said. Yes, what's great about PvP is something I call the dance of death, where you can't just button mash. You gotta move, you gotta use your block, you gotta use your grab. You have your counters, you have your fast melee, you have your long melee, and then you have your weapons. You need to keep moving and then attack, block, attack. So there is a dance of death that we've created in PvP. Now I will say, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm still not 100% sold on PvP. Again, I don't like how PvP and PvE is balanced in these kind of games. I like to hope the dev team actually take feedback from the players who play it a lot and balance around it. Obviously use their own brain and look at the data, but hopefully they don't go like Helldivers mode and just say, hey, we're going to balance things and we're not going to nerf things, but then proceed to nerf everything. That's where I'm at, because I'm sure a lot of you guys are coming from Helldivers are going to be playing this. So hopefully the team take a whole different approach when it comes to balancing things. And I know that's a little off topic to this topic, but it does kind of tie into it because balance is important. Hopefully they do that so that players have a good place to come to, because I, as a Helldiver player, got sick of that, like, I don't know, 3 weeks into the game. I don't know how some players continue to stay through that nerf hell. But hopefully the team like recognizes that players want to be strong, take feedback, and like build around it. So I'm really looking forward to it. Anyways, that's it for this video. Once again, this isn't a very, very long video. I wanted to keep it to the important things and try not to waste your time. If you respect that kind of stuff, leave me a like. That actually helps so much and it doesn't cost you anything. And if you liked the video up until this point, consider subscribing to the channel, because again, I'm going to keep you up to date on all things Warhammer 40k Space Marines 2. And yeah, just like that, guys, I'll see you in the next one very soon.